Hi, my name is Judy Baker. I'm the CEO of Argo Gold. Argo Gold is actually an oil producer in the Lloydminster area of Alberta since 2023. The company now generates this past year, 2.8 million in revenue and 1.8 million in net operating cash flow.
Right. Judy, lovely to meet you. We've not met or spoken before, so thanks for coming on the platform. Always looking for news stories and trying to work out who's who. What's your background relevant to what you're doing now?
I'm a geologist and engineer by training, but honestly, for the last 30 years, I hire expert geologists and expert engineers that have 30 years experience. I've really become a generalist, even though that is my training and early work experience.
Right, and so who works with you?
So generally, Argo hires consultants who are experts in what they do, whether it's hard rock, gold mineralization, hard rock exploration for gold, or whether they're experts in carbonate oil or sedimentary oil. So Argo basically taps into expert consultants with 30 or 40 years experience in their field.
Right. It's going to be, I guess, slightly wide and varied in the sense that I'm not quite sure what your Argo Gold is doing oil. What happened there? Where did you start off, and was there some sort of segue to oil at some point?
Yes. So Argo was founded in 2016. The company acquired multiple high-grade gold projects in central and northwestern Ontario, which is outside of the Abitibi. There was lots of opportunity to put together projects because all the big boys were in the Abitibi, and central and northwestern Ontario were relatively untouched because it's farther remote and a little more difficult exploration. Argo focused on the high-grade Uchi gold project. All the other projects actually were sold off to other companies who came to Argo looking for high-quality projects. So we had big players in the industry pick up the non-core gold projects. The Uchi gold project, Argo drilled off about 400,000 ounces at about half an ounce from surface to 200 meters. So Argo did make good progress at the high-grade Uchi gold project. But with the market cap of the company being only kind of 5 million, it never had the balance sheet to be able to do the drilling from 200 meters to 1 kilometer to continue to expand that resource. So that, in conjunction with the end of 2021, we were seeing a non-gold market, an interest in a post-pandemic recovery, and Argo started looking for post-pandemic recovery options, and that's when the company identified the opportunity in the Canadian oil patch.
Right. So it sounds very. How would you describe the company then? Because that seems very sort of entrepreneurial. One, I guess I'm impressed by the fact that you're looking at what you had and say this isn't going to be good enough in this market. Something's got to give. But then you've kind of leapt into oil. Seems quite, divergent in a way. So talk me through that thinking.
Yeah. So we started we picked up 50 square kilometers of copper mineral claims around Copper Lake's Marshall Lake discovery, where they had some great high-grade copper, nickel, zinc intercepts, but it never hung together. So that project never really moved forward. Marshall Lake never moved forward. But Argo was continuing to look around, and we were astonished by the lack of capital available in the Canadian oil patch, the valuations of producing projects, the lack of exploration drilling and development drilling in the Canadian oil patch, and the opportunities were tremendous. So Argo actually utilized about a dozen oil industry consultants in 2022. So carbonate geologists, sedimentary oil geologists, oil reserve engineers, operating engineers, landmen is very important in the oil patch as well. So Argo spent all of 2022 looking for opportunities in the Canadian oil patch. And then in the beginning of 2023, the company settled on participating in development drilling for heavy oil in the Lloydminster area. And it's basically, it's all the big boys in the Canadian oil patch are in heavy oil, and development drilling's the way to go. It's about a one year payback period. So
yeah, I've worked in the oil sector myself, but it seems a very sort of negative place. Canada generally, Trudeau's government was not pro fossil fuels, and all sorts of bans in place.
The opportunity.
Right. Okay. So again, talk me through, because that's a brave leap to go from. Okay, we've just had a couple of projects here on the metal side haven't worked out, and we're going to go into this oil and gas sector, which is, I'm not going to say hated, but certainly not supported. So where did you see the opportunity there?
Well, that was exactly the opportunity. There's a lack of capital in the Canadian oil patch because of the federal government. But Canada actually everything's run provincially. Roads, schools, mining, oil, everything was run provincially in this country. So the oil patch, Alberta and the oil patch run really well. Saskatchewan and the oil patch run really well. Saskatchewan and the mining industry is one of the top jurisdictions in the world. So there's a lot of really good execution in Canada, despite the federal government that doesn't have jurisdiction creating a black cloud over the industry. It's not really involved in the day-to-day operations, but what it has done is it scared investment capital into the sector, and most particularly foreign investment capital. So big oil actually is pulled out of Canada. And it's kind of just left a huge opportunity there, and that's the opportunity that Argo Gold went into, because we could see that the industry operated just fine under the government of Alberta.
Okay, so your marketing material says you put $1.8 million. There's probably some additional costs around. I mean, how much did you sink into this?
We put in. Argo put $1.8 million in the ground in 2023 to participate in development drilling of 3 oil wells in the Lloydminster area. Yes.
Right,
and
but obviously the consultants
paid out.
The consultants aren't cheap though either, Judy. So what's your kind of total spend on this?
It was a couple $100,000, but generally they weren't hired full time. They were hired, and they invoiced the company by the hour.
Okay.
In 2022, so Argo burned a couple $100,000 easily in 2022, looking for opportunities in the oil patch, reviewing projects, bidding on projects.
Okay, and the reason I'm asking this question, I'm kind of get a sense of what you're about and what your risk appetite is, what your entrepreneurial spirit is, and and how that helps me as a potential investor look forward with you. So when you had these consultants come in, what was the actual brief to them? In terms of saying, I want to invest in this space, I think it's an opportunity, but you got to be a bit more specific than that. What were you looking for?
Argo actually took kind of 9 months to figure out where you wanted to be in the oil patch. And the things that triggered me to where Argo wanted to be in the oil patch was Tamarack made a $1.4 billion bid for Delta Stream, the largest private company in the Clearwater. The Clearwater is development drilling heavy oil. Okay. Surge Energy just after that bought Enerplus's Canadian assets for $250 million. Okay. What were a large portion of Enerplus's Canadian assets? Heavy oil and the Sparky medium heavy oil horizontal drilling in the Sparky Formation. So it was that this heavy oil is actually a really good business for Canada. The U.S. refineries can't get enough of it. It ships direct on pipeline or rail, and as you can see by Argo's numbers, the cost of providing it is very low. So even with on-site operating costs on average $10 a barrel Canadian. The royalties are about 15 a barrel, either payable to the Crown or a freehold oil company. So your all-in costs are about Canadian $25 a barrel. And we've got paid on average over the last 2 years about 71 Canadian. So it's low cost and high margin. It's a good business. And I could see in 2022 that that's where the big oil companies wanted to be. And then even in the Lloydminster area, who's there? The big players, CNRL, Synovus, Baytex. So they've all got big positions in horizontal drilling, heavy oil, anywhere they can get up. The Lloydminster area is very popular.
Okay, so high netback here. You've got about, what do you say? You talk about 100 barrels a day. There or thereabouts.
We're running more about 120 now with some of the development drilling that was done at the end of 2024.
Okay. So look, these aren't big numbers, but they do bring in revenue, and they do, I guess, cover your G&A and some, because you're talking about also doing dividends potentially in 2026. Is that right?
Yeah. So for 2024, in the example, there was 2.8 million in revenue, 1.8 million in net operating cash flow from the oil patch. It costs about 400,000 a year to run Argo, and so there's room for development drilling. Pay down the accounts payable from 2022 of hiring all those consultants to go in the oil patch, and then pay down the debt in 2025 and
which is how much?
One to shareholders.
Which is how much, the debt?
$1 million.
Okay, right. Like I say, this is not a big business in itself as is. So what's the plan here? Do you stick in the oil and gas sector? Do you try and go back to precious metal or base metals? I mean, what are you thinking?
So Argo, it's a good business, and Argo will stay in development drilling for heavy oil as long as we can continue to have good opportunities there. So it's a business I wouldn't walk away from now that Argo has 2 years experience there. Okay, with the cash flow, the company has been opportunistic in what has been tough markets in the junior resource sector for the last 2 years to be opportunistic. So Argo picked up 200 square kilometers of mineral claims around Ramp Metals discovery in the Rottenstone Belt in northern Saskatchewan. Fathom Nickel's also out there. And then Argo's also been opportunistic picking up uranium plays in the Athabasca Basin. I think one of the things that took everybody sideways in 2024 was the realization of how much power artificial intelligence is going to require. And that has to be clean energy. So, Canada's the best place in the world for uranium. So why not take an opportunity to pick up some really good mineral claims there? So the company's being opportunistic in the sector.
Right. But I guess the question would be, what's the best use of your time? What's the best allocation of capital? So when you say opportunistic, I've got to ask to what end? Because you've got to create value in terms of the share price movement and value in terms of getting that market cap moving so that people take note of you, because you're at that kind of sub 10 million level. So again, how do you play that out?
So I think development drilling for heavy oil is a good business. It generates good revenue, good net operating cash flow. Our goal is stay in that business and do what the company can to continue to be successful there, generate that net operating cash flow. To what end? Argo would like to start paying a dividend in 2026, something in kind of a penny a share. If the oil patch continues to roll, hopefully we'll be able to do something every year on the dividend front. And then also with that net operating cash flow, take the opportunity to try to build value in Argo with some high quality mineral claim acquisitions. and
Right.
but there isn't a plan for those mineral projects.
But you're always going to get that constant debate, Judy, where you go, forget the dividend. It's neither here nor there. What I want you to do is take the money and go and spend it on creating a kind of major sort of step change in the company. The growth component. And there'll be others that will argue the complete opposite and say, okay, a dividend at least has something. So again, how do you kind of square away that argument? I know you're saying we've got to pay a dividend, but is that just trying to, I don't know, stand out, or is that just think, you feel, well, the gold and the copper thing didn't work out, I feel a bit guilty here, let's give a dividend here. What do you actually think is the best thing for the company?
So I actually, in 2026, I think the company will have enough net operating cash flow, both to participate in development drilling for oil as well as pay a dividend. So I actually think there's enough cash with 1.8 net operating cash flow being generated this year. That'd be a good forecast for next year. That kind of cash flow allows for a payment of a dividend as well as growth in the company.
Okay, but again, I'm trying to work out what I'm buying into here, because it's kind of a strange thing. You're revenue producing, and that's a rarity. You're full stop. From what I've seen in the past few years, obviously. So there's that. It's oil. It could be uranium. You've gone and kind of acquired some uranium or claims, but you need a lot of money to chase after uranium. So what's the end game there with those uranium claims? Are you a prospect generator as well as a producer of revenue?
I would say at this point a prospect generator, yes.
Okay.
And
okay.
If you watch what's happening in the oil patch, we're starting to see partnerships and companies banding together to get the best price value for their exploration dollars. So I think Argo would be definitely interested in a exploration partnership, which we've seen a lot of in the Athabasca because of the cost of mineral exploration for uranium.
Right. Okay. So and the claims themselves, are they typically, is that good enough to kind of get some kind of?
I think so. Yeah, I think the quality of the mineral claims is definitely of interest to bigger players in the uranium patch.
Okay, interesting. So end of 2025, where would you like to be? What would you like to be able to say to people?
Debt's paid down. The company's continued to continue development drilling for oil. Hopefully some expansion in revenue and cash flow, though it is risky. There's no guarantee development drilling for oil will be 100% successful. So a little bit of growth in the oil. And maybe some interesting joint ventures, partnerships, deals on the mineral projects in Argo.
Right. Okay. Well, Judy, I appreciate you coming on and just talking through the plan and a little bit about yourself. Stay in touch with us. It's really kind of interesting. It is very entrepreneurial, for sure. And I've not heard anything like this, so I've enjoyed listening to the story, and we will see you soon.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Have a great day.